Hey, what's up? It's Matt, and we're back for another episode of MPTV. This time we're in Union, Kentucky, my hometown, at a coffee shop I just discovered. We're here with one of the owners. Welcome, Mary.
Thanks, Matt.
So, Enlightenment Coffee. You've enlightened my days now. My brother and I, last Sunday, it was his birthday, and I said, let's get coffee and have a conversation. And he said, well, let's go somewhere non-chain. And I live kind of on the other side of Union, so I don't come down here much. I found you on the map. We came, had a great pour of our coffee. Love the atmosphere, and you've been in business for a year now, right?
That's correct, 1 year.
So I thought it would be a cool conversation because I'm always curious. Some of the people I've talked to have been in the business for 40 years, and they've forgotten more than that I've learned in the business. This past year, I guess give us some insight on why you got in the business and what's happened so far, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good. So let's see. We started a couple years ago thinking about getting into business of some sort. We didn't have a coffee shop in mind. It was just some business that my husband and I wanted to invest in. Okay. And then after getting to know one of our friends who's actually our chiropractor, we asked him one day, do you want to go into business with us? And you're like, I don't know. The worst he can say is no, right? And he was like, yes. And we're like, oh, okay, well, now what?
How we got to find a business?
Right, and then it was like, well, we thought about expanding his, or do we start new? And so he's like, well, actually, a buddy of mine and I were just talking the other day about a coffee shop. And I was like, all right, well, let's sit down and talk about it and figure it out. So we did, I don't know, probably about 6-8 months of research and just figuring out what we needed. Was this good? Was it a good plan? The location, we really wanted to be in this area. We're again not far away. We're just down off of the Walton exit. Okay. We've been here since '07, so we feel pretty established. But yeah, so after a while we said, yes, let's go for it. Let's make this happen. We think the community really needs it, and it can become like the heart of the community and really build it up. Okay. So that's kind of where we started.
So I guess
jump right in.
So that's good, the 6 to 8 months, because sometimes I think people rush into ideas. And they land in the wrong opportunity or wrong location. They fall in love with the location. I'm guessing you picked this location, proximity to where you live, but also the chiropractor is a couple doors down.
He is, yep.
So he probably had some knowledge of the traffic patterns of the people coming in.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely valuable. That
was one of the episodes we did. A lady named Kelly Gray, who's with Hothead Burritos and Rapid Fire Pizza. Her background, there's a Hothead down the street. Her background is commercial real estate. And she said, that's one of the biggest mistakes people make is they find a location they're in love with, but they don't know anything about it. So what were some of the things was it just his help knowing that this would be a good spot, or was there other things you took into account for picking here?
So there's that, and then there's the growth aspect. So everything's kind of pushing down from Cincinnati, and there's Covington and Newport have been built up the last several years, and then people are pushing further down. So here in Union you have we actually have a church right across the street here, and they are building a new location because they've grown so much. Okay. So they're going to be about a couple miles down the road here to our left. And then the subdivisions back behind us are all Triple Crown, Sutherland. I don't know, I blank on all of them now. But,
like Steeplechase?
Yeah, Steeplechase, yeah. So we have a ton of people there, lots of new houses going in over the past several years. And so with that growth, and then there's an elementary school that's being built down the road too as well. That. Yeah, so it's just so much growth happening here. We've got expansions on the highways for this exit and the one north. So it was kind of a combination of all of that, and yeah, still feeling like this is our area too. Like we're a part of this, and we just kind of want to bring the community feel. And we thought the best way was actually with a coffee shop.
Well, it's funny you mentioned moving down. I'm from Erlanger. I lived in Erlanger. I went from Erlanger to Florence. Was in Florence for 14 years. Went from Florence to Union. So you're exactly right. I've come down. I'm closer to you now. I'm right here.
Yeah.
And I think was it a factor that you didn't need this to become your moneymaker within 6 months or a year? Is that one of the things too?
Yeah, absolutely. So we all still have our own jobs that we work. We decided from the beginning we were going to stay with those. We do have different flexibilities with each one to where we can cover things or things happen,
Yeah.
and we all have different kinds of vacation plans and stuff to where we can take time away from our 9-to-5 job, so to say, and be here when we need to. But yeah, we said we're going to hire a team. They're going to be the ones that are here, but we're going to make sure our faces are still here. So right now, like my husband and I are here since the beginning of the year. We've been here every Sunday, and because we want to be a part of this, and I'm usually here once or twice a week in addition to that.
So
to
I know
make sure that I get to know people and people know me,
So I know to get my great pour over you've made for me twice now, I need to come on Sundays.
Sundays. Don't worry, I've trained everybody.
Okay.
I've got a sheet about this long of instructions. So.
There we go. I think
they go through extensive training.
I think that's important too. There's a restaurant, I won't mention it, but up the street in Florence that was open for 3 months and closed. And it blew me away because I looked at it. It was an extensive build out. It looked really cool. And I asked one of the neighbors, I have a friend who's got a business in that block there, and he's like, Matt, they were undercapitalized. They needed this to pay every bill, husband and wife, full-time gig right away.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure on that. And when I started my business, one thing I brought from the past failures I've had in business was I didn't want to start my business back in 2008 for the reason, I didn't want to make businesses just make them money. I think a lot of times you do that, you put pressure on yourself. In this case, you all have different jobs. You're able to kind of slow play it and let this area grow because, like you said, right now this might not be as crazy as it's going to be in 3 or 4 years, but it's going to be there.
Right.
I just saw Triple Crown. They keep finding land back there. I come around the corner the other day and there's trees gone and there's 20 more houses going up.
Right? It's like magic.
Yep.
Just show up.
So let's switch gears because marketing-wise, I always tell businesses they think it's harder than it actually is to market. And one thing I'm adamant, I actually just wrote a foreword for a book last night for a book that's coming out in a couple months. And I talked about a restaurant's job every day is to sell. Like you're a salesperson. And the easiest way to sell is social media. Okay, break time. Restaurateurs, it's Matt. And if you're watching MPTV, you're obviously interested in improving your business. What if I told you could finally take the hope and pray out of your marketing plan and spend money and see results? You see, most marketing starts with the same exact tactic. You gain the attention of somebody, but that's where the majority of it stops. What we do with the ROI engine is help you gain amazing attention, which drives gigantic engagement. That engagement leads to customers to tell us who they are, meaning they opt into your email, text, and birthday program, and then we drive them to buy something. We've got a lot of great programs that can help you, and we'd love to have a conversation with you. If you're interested, it's easy. Check out ROIexperts.net. You can schedule an appointment and we'll hop on a call with you. Worst case scenario, you learn how to market your restaurant like you've never heard of before. Back to the action. It's not hard to do social media anymore. I mean, marketing 20 years ago when I got into marketing in 1999, it was an automated fax. And you bought radio or TV or direct mail. Fax, by the way. Somebody the other day asked me if I could fax them something. I'm like, I don't know. But nowadays, there's so many opportunities. Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and businesses just don't take advantage of it. I wrote a book, a foreword for a friend's book the other day. It's a restaurant marketing book about burgers. And part of my foreword was about it's a restaurant owner's job, in my mind, to sell every day. And it's easier to sell every day because it's free. And one thing I always point out, I'll show them tripods. Like I always walk in with a tripod of some sort, camera, a gimbal. And I'm like, these things aren't expensive, it's not hard. And sure enough, I come in here this morning and you've got the camera set up, you just did a shot for Facebook. So I guess talk about how you use this, what it is, and it's probably intimidating to some extent, I would imagine, when you're new to this, putting yourself on camera, but you've done it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very different putting your face out there. It's awkward at first, and I've done it a handful of times. I've done more photos than videos, but I'm trying to get into it because I know I need to, and I know folks respond better to it. They want to know who you are, not just what your cup of coffee looks like. So I've tried to do more of me or our baristas and so forth. So yeah, I got a couple of tripods. This one's a smaller one that I can just put my phone in here, and it comes with a little remote that you use Bluetooth, and you can just click it to take your picture. So it enables me to put it further away or at whatever angle, and these things are all super pliable and stuff. They're awesome. Yeah, so it's really easy to use. But I love that I can do it from further away and get my shot of whatever I need it to be. And then I got another one that's bigger. It goes up several feet. And then that one has the little ring light on it. And it has the same thing. It has another little clicker that you can take from a distance. So you can get your hands out of the way or whatever awkward shot you need. And there's a lot of times I'm alone. I don't necessarily have a helper that's able to come in, or whether that's one of my baristas or my husband, or paying somebody to come in, and do it. That's an added fee that you try to avoid as many of those as possible when you're new. So yeah. But it's been great. It's super easy to use.
Oh, you're after my heart. When I came in and saw it back there, I was like, oh gosh, and I saw the controller, and I've seen about every toy, and I've got about every tripod you can imagine, except that one, so now I gotta go buy that one. But I think it's something that people don't take advantage of. And I reflect back literally when I was 1999 marketing we started our boat and RV dealership, me, my dad and brother, with a website, and every part of media we had to buy was paid. And you look today, all of these medias are free. And like one of our clients, Yanni from King Euros up in Columbus, Ohio, he does probably anywhere from 20 to 30 stories a day on Facebook and Instagram.
Wow.
And I'm talking, because he's got colorful food, and he does boomerangs, all sorts of stuff. And I asked him, I said, man, I got some clients who don't do it at all. I got you that's a little obsessive, maybe. Just kidding, Yanni. But I said, you do it. And I said, why? He goes, well, Matt, I look at it this way. If I can get 10 people to see that item today, and maybe 1 or 2 come by, that's awesome. Well, if I do 30 stories, and I get a different 10 people, because the algorithm doesn't show it to everybody every time.
Right.
You might make 10 different cups of coffee or different pictures every day, and it's going to alternate who sees it. And he's like, my thought is if I can get 10, 20, 30 people a day to come in from that, great. And I think a lot of times that's what the 2 biggest things online that activate people are excited about, cars, money, food. And if you look on YouTube and Facebook, the biggest videos on there are food and coffee.
Our food, yep. There's a lot of coffee.
So talking about the first year in business, what's something that you wish you knew a year ago that you now know that you're like, wow, I wish I would have known that and did a little more of it, or maybe changed it up?
Aside from COVID.
Yeah. COVID didn't exist then.
Aside from that, yeah. I don't think there's really like one particular thing.
Sticks out?
Yeah.
What was a big mistake? Anything that you did that you're like, wow, I wish we wouldn't have done that? Whether it was point of sale, or if you changed point of sales or anything like that, or any piece of software you bought, like, oh, we never used it?
I mean, our point of sale, we don't have it integrated with a web, or with our website to order online or an app. There's that possibility out there, but it doesn't have as many options for like using it anywhere. There's one basically that I can go through for one company that it integrates with. So I guess that's one downside, but I love it. It's got all of our inventory in it, and it's got, I can easily see what my cost of goods, what my labor percent is. So I love that. I think it's still worth the money, even without having it attached to the website or anything.
So. Helps you analyze what you're doing and what your days look like, especially if you're not here every day.
Right.
So talking about marketing and events, I haven't been to one yet. I will come to one because I have a car I think would be fun to show off here at the car show, but you did car shows and you've done a couple cruise-ins. Talk about how that came about, because I personally think that's a missed opportunity, because usually when somebody comes with their car, they bring 1 or 2 others, and then people hang out, eat, drink, and have fun.
Yeah. So my husband's actually a mechanic by trade.
Okay.
So he loves cars. We have I say a small collection. The last count was 17, so.
What? Can you adopt me?
So, yeah, I haven't counted in a while, but
17.
We haven't really done a whole lot of.
So you could have your own car show.
We could. Most of them are works in progress. So you'll see them in different stages of done or not done yet. But yeah, so we've always kind of loved cars, and we talked about it before we even opened that we wanted to have cruise-ins, people bring their cars and stuff, and we didn't get it started. I feel like there was just so many things to do in the fall, because, well, I guess the whole summer and the fall, and then it was like, well, shoot, it's getting into winter now. So we didn't get it started last year, and we wanted to do it this year. So we thought for our first one, we'll do it at our year anniversary. So we did a cruise-in. It was huge success. We had tons of people come out. They were so excited about it, and we had people asking us, are you going to do more of these? And I said, yes. So we have our next one July 19th, Sunday. You can bring your Lambo out.
Yep.
But yeah, we're super excited about it. But I think people want it, like as they can see from people asking us if we're going to have it again. So yes. Well,
coffee and cars go together great. I've always talked about that. Like find a segment of a population that talk a lot. You know, I remember one of our clients a while back was doing Walking Dead nights.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it because the bartender loved Walking Dead. And I've told this story before, and she packed it out. But also, people who like Walking Dead, their friends like it, and their friends like it. It's like, oh, I'm not watching it at home, I'm watching it here. Well, with a car, your husband's got 17 cars. I'm sure he's got 15 or 20 friends that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
And so all he's got to do is make a couple phone calls or a couple Facebook posts, and next thing you know, people are tagging each other and coming. And it's a great culture to have around. They hang around. And of course, I'm sure drink some coffee and eat some snacks here.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
Restaurant owners, did you know Matt has free online marketing courses that teach you how to successfully market your restaurant? Email support@mattplapp.com to get access to the courses and a free social media content calendar.
Well, cool. So I always put people on the spot at the very end.
Okay.
You're talking to somebody that's going to open a coffee shop in 6 months, a year. They're in that planning stage. What's the biggest piece of advice or something you would say, hey, this is what you need to focus on, or this is something to think about going into this endeavor?
One thing. Oof. I mean, a big part is, be organized and like have a plan for as many things as possible.
Okay.
Know it's going to change, and you're gonna have things that come up, and you have to be flexible and be able to adapt. Like, otherwise you won't make it if you're not flexible. And you have to also, I think, go in with the mindset of it's not gonna be your first year and you are making money.
Yeah.
You will not. So be prepared for that. I think that's like a gut check almost. So
Yeah.
You can't plan for making money your first year. You just can't.
Yeah, and I think that's important. A lot of people don't think about that. We opened a gym, I guess it's been 7 years ago, and we had the conversation with 3 of us that said, we're going to open this gym. We have the money in the bank to pay every bill for the next 12 months. That if we have to every month lose a lot of money, we know it's going to take that. We were fortunate that 3-4 months in, it was fine. But you've got to plan for it, like you're saying. And also, I do love the fact that be ready to change. Because I think some people sometimes say, hey, this is the coffee lineup we're going to have, and this is what we're going to do. Well, then if the customer's coming in, like that's not the lineup they want, or they want more iced coffee, or they want more pour over, or less pour over, then you've got to be able to change with it and be able to bend from what you want. Well, cool. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.
Well, that wraps up this episode of MPTV, and like she said, plan, but also plan to change your plan, because you never know what's going to come down the pipeline. This past spring, we saw COVID. Who knows what we'll see next year after that? And keep thinking about ways to constantly improve what you're offering to your customers and take things to the next level. And also be open to ideas like classic car cruise-ins, things that can help bring people here, have fun, bring the community around you. And that's all we got for this episode. See you later.